Hello, my name is Romarishi, and today I'd like to talk to you about something that I think is extremely important. I had a dream, and when I woke up from the dream, I realized that I had been dreaming that there was no war in the entire world. No war. It had disappeared. Every conflict in the world was gone, and the world was at perfect peace. All the people of the world in every country were enjoying absolute peace. Today is March 31st, and we've been in self-imposed isolation for about 3 weeks. And to tell you the truth, it hasn't been too hard because we live high in the mountains at an altitude of 5,500 feet, uh, surrounded by pine forests. So our life for the last 3 weeks has not been very different than what it was like before. But we realize that it has been very different for most people and that we are very fortunate. But most people have been undergoing tremendous difficulty, hardship, anxiety, and fear. Many people have lost their jobs. Many companies have had to close. And it's not only here in America, it's all over the world. There are some countries where it's been even worse, like northern Italy. India now is on quarantine or lockdown, and it's very, very difficult for the people of India. If you are poor in India, this is a truly horrible time. So we all know that this is a global crisis. It's a global pandemic. It's like something we've never experienced in our entire lives. We certainly didn't expect it. No one would have ever dreamed that this would be happening. And the consequences are enormous. Many people have started asking, when are we going to go back to normal? Or, even more importantly, what will be the new normal? And it's pretty much for sure that we're not going to go back to the way it was before. There will be tremendous upheaval and changes in the way we live, in the way our economies function all over the world, and the way people behave. So what is the new normal? What is going to come after this global pandemic? That is a very good question to ask and to think about. And I would like to make a suggestion. The suggestion that I would like to make is that we have an enormous opportunity here. Enormous. It may be the silver lining of this whole pandemic. We can choose to create a much, much better world than the world that we have been living in and that we were living in before this pandemic began. I would like to ask you a question right now. Everyone who ever watches this video, whether it's in the next few weeks, next few months, or next few years, or ever, would you like to live in a world where there is no war? Where war disappears from the face of the earth? I know I would, and I've wanted that for my entire adult life. I remember when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, and many people were terrified that we could be at war, even a nuclear war with Russia. And as we all know, Russia and America have nuclear weapons, stockpiles of nuclear weapons that could annihilate Earth, all life from Earth. That's truly terrible. And yet we live in that kind of world. What if we could remove all nuclear weapons, these weapons of mass destruction that could annihilate life on the planet Earth? What if we could remove them permanently from the planet Earth? What if every armed conflict in the world, large or small, was eliminated? And I would like to suggest that we have a choice. We can go back to the way things were before, or we can choose to create a world where there is no war. It's up to us. It's up to every single one of us all over the world. Just think about it for a second. Do people living in Russia want to live in peace? Certainly. Do people live in Europe, in the UK, in Scandinavia, in South America, in Africa, in North America, South America? Do all those people want to live in peace? Obviously, they do. I believe that we can create a golden age. A golden age on the planet Earth, where the very best of the ancient and the modern, of spiritual and technological, comes together to create a beautiful life for the entire planet. A mother in Russia loves her child and wants her child to be free of suffering. A mother in China, in Canada, in Brazil, in America, in every single country on the face of the earth, when a baby is born, that mother wants that child to be healthy and happy. It's obvious that everyone in the world would rather live in a world where there's peace. Do you remember that John Lennon and Yoko Ono launched a campaign for world peace? And they said, "War is over if you want it. War is over if you want it." We all want it. So let's take action. Let's let all of the politicians in every single country on the face of the earth know that their people want peace, not war. What would happen if all over the world, in China, in Russia, in America, in England, what would happen if the entire population rose up and said, "We don't want any more war. We want peace"? Now, I know that some people will say, "Well, that's just not practical. That's naive thinking. There's always been war. For the entire history of the planet Earth, there have been wars." And when we think about it, we realize how much suffering those wars caused, how many people lost their lives, how many soldiers came home dead or missing arms or legs or paralyzed, how many veterans came home with PTSD and eventually committed suicide or were victims of drug addiction. This has been going on a long, long, long time. Far, far too long. We need to make a change, and there is no better time than now, when the entire world has suffered from this global pandemic, and the entire world is feeling united. I know I feel united with the suffering people in Italy and the suffering people in India, who are the victims of this global pandemic. So there's been an increase in our awareness that we really are one family. So let's start treating each other like we really are one family. Let's abolish war. That is an amazing opportunity that we have right now. What if every single country on the face of the earth right now decreased their military spending by 10% next year? And what if every single country said, we will decrease our military spending by 10% next year and every year for the next 5 years? They could do it. Will they do it? Probably not, unless the people demand it. You know, there are so many programs that are being suggested now, like Medicare for all, or abolishing student debt, or providing health care for every single person from birth to grave, or raising the minimum wage. And the opposition says, well, we can't afford that. It's too expensive. Where's the money going to come from? Well, the money could come from decreasing military spending by 10%. And if all the leading countries of the world did that, they would be able to afford the money to improve the quality of life of everyone in their nation. Improve the quality of life for every person in their nation. So we need to do it. It's obvious. We need to do it. But how can we do it? We can only do it if people stand up and demand it. If all over the world people stand up and demand it. And we have something that will make it possible. The internet. We are all connected via the internet. We can speak with our fellow family members in all the countries of the world, because we are one family. We're humanity. We can communicate all over the world with everyone who's on the internet, and we can pass this message on. So I invite you to pass this message on to everyone who you can. And I invite you to participate. I don't want anyone to follow me. I don't want to be a leader. I don't want this to be my movement. I want it to be our movement. I want it to be humanity's movement, where finally, in the year 2020, humanity rose up and said to the leaders, we don't want war. We want peace. Let's do it. We can do it. Don't think it can't be done. Do you remember when the Berlin Wall came down and nobody thought that was going to happen? There have been so many things that have happened that no one expected. And even though there will be naysayers who say, oh, you're just being naive, that can't really happen. It can happen. It will happen if we stand up and make it happen. Everything in the world is the result of our thinking, of our mind. Everything that exists that we use, from iPads to iPhones to electric cars, it all came from the human mind. The human mind created it. We create our world, our reality. So we can create a peaceful world, and only we can do it. So I'm making this message to go out to everyone in the world who wants this to happen. Let's keep passing this message on and make messages of your own. Post your own videos, send your own emails and Instagrams, or TikTok, if that's what you're into. Let's keep the message going and spread it all over the face of the world that humanity wants a new normal. Humanity wants a peaceful world. We want a world where people love and respect each other. So thank you for watching, and I will be posting more videos like this. If you enjoyed this message, please subscribe and like this message, and that will help get the message spread. And I invite you, let's all get involved in this. Let's all participate. Let's not be apathetic. Let's not be pessimistic. Let's not think, oh, it's never going to change. There's always going to be war. No, it's up to us to create that world. Thank you.